G'day legends, I hope you're all fantastic. Today we are checking out a small but mighty effects processor, the Boss SE-70. This is probably the best half rack space little effects processor that you can get out there for guitar. And I base that on like the three that I've tried and kind of public opinion. A lot of you have been requesting that I check out this unit. So I have to thank everybody who suggested it because I have been absolutely loving it. There are some great tones in here. There are some super unique features like the wave chorus, the 40-stage phaser. There's a 12-voice pitch shifter in here. There are some gorgeous delays. Just a little powerhouse that I think flew under my radar for a long time and kind of rack aficionados know all about. So we're going to hear a bunch of sounds. Hopefully I will get through a bunch of different algorithms in here. I'm not really going to cover too many of the multi-algorithms in here because to me, this is the sort of unit that you grab and add to your rack when you don't want to use much rack space or spend much money, but you want a few specific sounds. Maybe you want a really nice modulated delay. Maybe you want a really lovely stereo chorus or something like a really unique step phaser or 40-stage phaser or a rotary sound, which this does pretty well. There are some kind of guitar amp simulator style things in here and some multi-algorithms. We will hear a few of those. There's some tones in there, but I think the real value and power of this comes from some of its unique effect algorithms. The big drawback for it is actually the power supply on the back here. This uses a really strange plug size on here. I think it's a 3.1 millimeter plug. I ended up hacking up a bunch of power supplies that I already owned and none of them worked. You also need 12 volt AC 1.5 amps. So I ended up getting a 16 volt, 1.25 amp power supply from Jaycar with bare ends and soldering up my own connector, and it finally worked. So that was a bit of an odyssey, but yeah, the SE-70, we're gonna hear a bunch of tones with it, a bunch of different guitars. I'm gonna use the Axe effects for all the so-called amp tones in here. Let's go. As you can see, I've got my PRS SC245, so we're gonna start off absolutely filthy, and we'll start with the ultimate litmus test for any Rockman effect unit. What does the pitch detune sound like? You'll hear the dry sound, and then I'm going to kick in the detune algorithm I've dialed in, plus or minus 9 cents of either side, and I've done the Van Halen thing where one voice has about 3 milliseconds of delay and the other has about 20, 25 milliseconds of delay on there. Let's hear it. That is thick and greasy and everything pitch detune should be. I haven't done an A/B comparison with this, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of the way the Sony DPS M7 does detune, where it doesn't sound as like wide and detailed as an Eventide, but it's got its own thing going on. The cool thing is you can actually have 3 detuned voices in there. So I've added an extra detuned voice. Let's hear that. Even cooler is you can have up to 320 milliseconds of delay on each detuned voice. So I've cranked this up. Now I've got a beautiful detuned delay. So no feedback on those detune delays, but I think they sound pretty cool to my ears anyway. Let's move over to a specific delay algorithm. This is the stereo delay. And what's cool in here is you have cross feedback on there. You've got damping and you've got an EQ, and you can set the direct and effect level on here. So what I've done is set up the left delay to be twice as long as the right delay, or vice versa, but I've added cross feedback on them. So we're going to get a pseudo circular style delay. Check it out. With a little bit of high frequency damping and the overall level of the delays reduced, this is pretty sweet for what I like. There's also a couple of dual effect algorithms like this delay and chorus. What's cool is you have 3 delay taps in here. So I've set one for 300, one for 600, and one for 900 milliseconds, panned left, right, and center. There's also a bit of chorus in here. We're going to talk about the chorus a little bit more just after this. But again, this is a sweet combo algorithm. If you just wanted a small unit for a great lead sound, this is going to do it. We'll stay with the absolute filth for one more sound. This is the stereo chorus. There's actually a factory preset called Space D, so kind of doing the dimensional style chorus thing. There's a bunch of really cool parameters in here actually. So you can set the rate, the depth, you can set the pre-delay, which is at 5 milliseconds on this at the moment, bass and treble. Then you've got the overall effect and master level. So this one, you know, it'll do your No More Tears style thing pretty well, I think. Let's hear that same stereo chorus with a jangly clean sound. I'll let you hear it bypass and then I'll bring it in. I love the way this sounds, and we're going to talk about a few more of the advanced chori in here in just a second. Before I get to the more advanced chorus stuff, we need to hear the mod delay. The killer feature in this is that you can set up the delay modulation polarity to be synchronized, like a kind of basic modulation delay, or to be inverted, which is going to get you this super wide spatial effect in here. So I have seen people compare this as like the ancestor of the Boss DD20 mod delay. I actually kind of prefer this a little bit better, even though I do love the DD20 and especially the mod delay. So we'll just hear 300-ish milliseconds of delay with the modulation synchronized and then inverted. Finally, we get to the wave chorus. This is super interesting and unique in the world of Rockman. I think this is probably the killer app on the SE-70, and I know a bunch of you rack enthusiasts out there would probably want to grab one of these just for this algorithm. You have a triangle, a sine, and an exponential wave shape, and you can blend those with independent rate and depth controls in there. So we'll have a listen to what it does with just this stock ensemble factory preset, and then I'll let you hear one that I dialed in where I basically just kind of spread out the depth and rate controls between the three different voices. I think the factory one has a really fast sine with a very low depth, and then a kind of more moderate triangle with no exponential. The one I've dialed in, it's like a blend between the three of them. This is pretty awesome. And of course, we've got reverbs. You know, Boss aren't really renowned for their reverbs when it comes to rack processors, aside from, I guess, the Roland SRV, which is a pretty classic unit. But I really like the way these sounds. Again, nothing except a lexicon is a lexicon, but I've got a concert hall on here that we can hear with a clean sound. I'll let you hear it dry, and then I will bring it in. cathedral for some kind of dirty Let's quickly hear a few other reverb types. This is a basic live room style verb. But I think my favorite one is the rich plate reverb. And of course, there are gated verbs. Here's a standard gate. And one of my favorites, a reverse gate. I'm going to reroute this now so that I'm going guitar into the SE-70 into a pair of stereo amps in my Axe effects so we can hear some of the other modulation and kind of just cool and funky sounds. There are some truly spectacular modulation sounds to be had in this little half rack unit. I'm just going to roll through some of these factory patches because I think they do such a good job of demonstrating the unique and powerful features on the SE-70. We're going to start with this 8-stage chorus, then we'll go over to a 16-stage chorus. We'll hear the 12-voice pitch shifter, the 40-stage phaser, and a bunch of other fun stuff. So here is my starting point. Again, we're going to start with this 8-stage chorus. So that was the 16-stage chorus. Truly stunning. I love that. This is one patch with a 12-voice pitch shifter. I'll just kind of scroll through a few more. I haven't done any tweaking on these. Yeah, that's kind of silly, but it is pretty fun, and it's very typical of units of this era. Let's hear the 40-stage phaser. Then there's a kind of, what is it, a 20-stage biphaser, and then there's a vintage phaser, and I love the sound of the vintage phaser, but we'll start with 40-stage phaser. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I love stepped phasers and stepped flangers, and they sound really good in there. What sounds particularly cool to me is that gated flanger that we heard in there. It's almost doing like a slicer style effect, which is super unique. And Boss would kind of expand on that with the VF1, which was a little red half rack unit that had a bunch of slicer effects in it. That's one I do want to get around to demoing at one point. The last thing that I want to let you hear in front of a pair of stereo amps is the rotary sound on here. We'll just do it with a clean sound. So again, just factory patches. This one's called rotary fast, and then we'll hear rotary slow. I've seen a lot of people talk about the rotary sounds in this as being cheapest and most effective ways to get a decent rotary for your rack. So let's hear it dry, and then we'll kick it in. You do have some guitar multi-effect algorithms that include everything from overdrive, distortion, chorus, delay, reverb, and a guitar amp simulator through to some more exotic Boss-specific effects like the slow gear and the auto wah. There's just some factory presets I'm going to roll through. We'll start with this metal drive preset. A little bit of reverb on there. That one, that really sounds like what I would expect a DI guitar amp modeler to sound like from this kind of generation. There's this guitar lead effect on here, which kind of sounds a bit Rockman-y. Nice little delay on there. Here's something that I prepared earlier with this patch direct. I'm going to kick in the flanger effect on it. And I think this with the flanger is pretty cool for a trippy, like late 80s Floydy sort of lead. Pick of the bunch for me though is this Rockman clean inspired preset. It's called Guitar Cutting. You've got a whole chain in there, but the ability to still kick in pitch detune and delay. I'll let you hear it with just a kind of DI chorus sound, then I'll bring in the pitch detune, then I'll bring in the delay. Now, if you had a rack style rig and you really wanted that DI Rockman style clean without investing too much rack space or money, that would be a great way to do it. Just take that factory preset, crank the pitch detune on, and you're pretty much there. I do have to let you hear this cosmic pan preset on here as well. This one is just, super Boss, super fun for like 5 minutes, and I'm sure you could probably find a way to sneak this into a recording somewhere as a character tone. Thanks so much for sitting through the entire video. Hopefully I was able to communicate why I like this unit so much and why all the people who suggested I check one of these out were so spot on. I got this for less than 200 Australian dollars. I did have to kind of make a power supply to go with it, but that was worth the effort. I love the character tones out of this, and it surprised me in the same way something like the Korg A3 or the Sony DPS M7 did. The detune, the chorus, the delays all sound fantastic. Those unique algorithms in there sound pretty amazing, like the wave chorus and the 40-stage phaser. There's a lot of fun stuff in here, and this almost kind of marks like a high point for like creativity and imaginative effect design for Boss. It's almost like they kind of got a lot more conservative in the years after that. I mean, I love stuff like the GT1000 and the ME50 and a bunch of other real workhorse units, but this thing does some stuff that nothing else in their line does. So it's very much a unit worth putting on your radar. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you have one of these, please feel free to share some tips and tricks. Until next time, have a great day. Thanks for watching.